In some ways, not much has changed in the last 100 years. According to official records, Troop 3 of Ambler, Pennsylvania was originally chartered as an official Boy Scout troop on May 17, 1915. The original application for commission as Scoutmaster identifies the troop as Troop 2, Ambler. Troop 2 was sponsored by a group of citizens and met on the second floor of a nearby garage owned by William C. Evans, which was known as Evans Garage. The chartered troop was a member of the Delaware and Montgomery County Council, which in the early 1950s became the Valley Forge Council. On the original application for commission as Scoutmaster, John Edward Martin stated that he became interested in the Scout movement because, "I believe the Scout movement to be the best way of making our future men worthwhile." The Scouts of the early Troop 2 raised funds by building fly traps, holding bake sales, selling U.S. bonds, showing moving pictures to the public, and becoming the first Boy Scout troop to deliver telephone directories as a Boy Scout fundraiser. By 1918, Troop 2 had spun off 2 new Boy Scout troops in Ambler, and also participated as a charter member in the establishment of a new Boy Scout camp for the Delaware and Montgomery County Council, Camp Delmont. The 1920 charter shows that Ambler Troop 2 was graciously being provided a new meeting place, the gymnasium in the basement of Trinity Memorial Episcopal Church. The first meetings at the new location were held on Friday nights at 7:30. Troop 2 of Ambler continued to be sponsored by a group of citizens until 1946, when the charter shows that Trinity Memorial Episcopal Church became the unit's official sponsor, a relationship that continues to this day. During the 1950s, a national movement in Scouting was undertaken to reorganize the troop numbering system. Prior to this time, many communities had a Troop 1, a Troop 2, a Troop 3. Understandably, this often led to confusion. It was decided to renumber the troops so that there would only be one troop with a given chartered number within each Boy Scout Council. Troop 2 of Ambler became Troop 3 of the Valley Forge Council. In 1963, a healthy dose of color blew down from the north. From the city of Augusta, Maine, came a man called Sarge. Born in 1923, Herbie, as he was known then, lied about his age to join the Army. Herb Pierce was a member of the infamous Filthy 13, a specialized, behind-the-lines combat demolition squad in the European theater of the Second World War. He was a member of the legendary 101st Airborne Division, making combat jumps on D-Day behind enemy lines at Normandy, and during Operation Market Garden in Holland. Herb Pierce enlisted again during the war in Korea, where he earned the rank of sergeant. Sarge was wounded and received the Purple Heart. In 1963, Sarge became a leader in Troop 3 when his son Herbie joined. Sarge had learned a lot of skills in the Army that he wanted to pass on to his son and other young men. Herbie was a member of Troop 3 from 1963 to 1969, but Sarge remained active in the troop for another 3 decades, continuing to share his experiences with generation after generation of young men. In 2003, Sarge passed on his 80th birthday. In 1972, Troop 3 performed a service by assisting the community with the cleanup following Hurricane Agnes, and received a certificate of appreciation from then-Governor Milton Shapp. During the 1970s and early 80s, the Scouts of Troop 3 earned much of their camping money by collecting used newspapers and magazines, and selling them to local recycling facilities. This fundraiser doubled as a service project for the local community by lessening the load of trash being hauled on a weekly basis, and it helped save trees by supplying used paper for recycling. However, by the mid-1980s, many communities began recycling programs of their own, and the price of used newspaper plummeted to the point that it was no longer a sustainable source of funding. The mid-1980s were an active time for Troop 3. Troop enrollment was high, there was a full level of participation in activities, and there was a bumper crop of 9 Eagle Scouts between 1988 and 1993. The troop continued to meet at Trinity Church until... late on the afternoon of Monday, June 16, 1986. A disastrous fire, possibly linked to faulty electrical wiring following repair work to the pipe organ, struck Trinity Memorial Episcopal Church. Over 200 emergency personnel from a dozen local fire companies, paramedics, police, and other agencies responded to this event. Approximately 10,000 feet of hose were laid, stretching from Butler Pike all the way south to Skipback Pike towards Flowertown. The Ambler water system was practically sucked dry. Nevertheless, the building was destroyed. Suddenly without a home, Troop 3 was graciously provided a meeting place by the First Presbyterian Church of Ambler. Troop 3 met at First Presbyterian from the summer of 1986 until May 13, 1990, when the troop returned to the magnificently rebuilt Trinity Episcopal Church for their regular meetings. In 2008, Troop 3 was on the verge of death. There was no scoutmaster, and only a smattering of registered scouts, none of whom were actively participating. The committee consisted of a handful of veteran scouters: Bill McColl, Harry Heckler Sr., Dick Stoller, and Lou McLaughlin, who were meeting regularly just to keep Troop 3's heart pumping. This steadfast group was about to draft a letter to the church saying Troop 3 was finished. All that changed when Harry Heckler Jr., an alumnus of Troop 3 from 1982 to 1988, an Eagle Scout from the class of 1988, and grandson of Troop Charter member Lydy Heckler Jr., took the reins as Scoutmaster and led the way to a reinvigorated Troop 3. Like a phoenix emerging from the ashes, Troop 3 surged in leadership, membership, participation, and community service. In 2008 and 2009, the first two scouts joined under the new Scoutmaster. By bringing in their friends and through the Scoutmaster's recruiting efforts, Troop 3 continually added scouts through 2010. This was a challenging stage in the resurgent troop's development, since the absence of just a few boys could make a significant impact on activities. A website and email newsletters were created to enhance the troop's communication and marketing. Troop 3's efforts also branched out to neighboring Cub packs to get Troop 3 back on the radar of local Cub Scout families. Today, Troop 3 is about as boy-run as a troop can get. With its highest membership in its recent history, the troop consists of 3 patrols and approximately 35 scouts, with 18 to 20 boys participating in any given activity. Many of the present membership crossed over from Cub Scouts, while some joined with little or no Cub Scout experience. Each boy is personally engaged, and each has an important influence on how the troop runs and what the troop does. In 2014, Troop 3 produced its first Eagle Scout in a decade. Throughout the years, countless young men have learned lifelong skills as members of the patrols of Troop 3. From yesteryear, through today, and into tomorrow, the boys of Troop 3 have grown, and will continue to grow, into men who will become leaders in their communities. Troop 3 of Ambler, Pennsylvania, preparing boys for life since 1915.